Well, shalom, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to conclude our series looking into Pirkei Avot, and I've had a really good time going through this with you, and I hope this last installment really does this series justice and maybe brings some things up for you to think about and perhaps challenge you and maybe spur you on to increase in your observance. And if you are Jewish and not religious, that you somehow come across this video for a reason that might spur you on to return to observance and get in contact with somebody nearby an Orthodox Jewish community and reconnect with Hashem today. If you aren't Jewish and you have been finding these videos helpful, then get in contact with me and I'll show you what you can get into and learn from your situation, being somebody who is not Jewish, and nonetheless you can have a very crucial role to play in the coming days and help the nation of Israel. In many instances, you can be more of value in helping the nation of Israel return to observance and turn the tide of anti-Semitism much more. You can help Israel much more as a Noahide than you can as a convert, at least in the short term. Which is something very interesting to think about, because a lot of people think about converting, and you're really going to be catapulting yourself from being somebody who has great potential to affect change in your current role as a Noahide to be now finding yourself as a newly born Israelite, or Yehudi, or Jew, really sort of starting right down at the very bottom. This is a valid path. It's very much a valid path. Of course it is. But we should just weigh up what is it that we're really trying to achieve. Is this a something we're doing for the sake of Hashem, or is this something we are trying to do for the sake of ego? So you always have to analyze, what if you're thinking about conversion, proper conversion, Orthodox Jewish conversion, what's the motives behind it? What are you actually doing? Is this going to cause more damage than it is going to cause good? Or is it going to ultimately cause more good than it is going to cause damages in your life? If you're single, you don't have any children, of course, you're in a better position. But if you are married and you have a wife that's not convinced like you are of all these things that you're coming into, and maybe you have young kids, these are all factors that you have to bring to bear, because you don't want to end up committing Kilul Hashem, desecrating the name of Hashem, in the pursuit of your personal goals. You have to want the betterment of the community and the prosperity of the nation of Israel over any personal gain. So if that makes any sense. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on and have a look at this last installment. We're up to page 59 of the Ashkom Mesorah series. This is the little paperback edition I've got here. It's falling apart. You can pick up copies of these, until the cows come home on ABE Books, secondhand, all day long. Or you can buy them brand new. You can buy deluxe editions of the Pirkei Avot, which cost into the hundreds. So we're up to page 59 of this particular edition, verse 7, and we're still looking at the benefits of Torah study. So if you haven't been following this series, definitely, if you can, have a look at the previous video we did in this series, because there's a lot in there of the advantages and what blessings a person brings upon themselves by engaging in the study of Torah for its own sake. And so we're continuing this theme here as we get into verse 7. So this is chapter 6, verse 7. Great is Torah, for it confers life upon its practitioners, both in this world and the world to come, as it says, for they, the teachings of the Torah, are life for those who find them, and a healing to his entire flesh. quoting Proverbs 4:22 there. So this is an immovable, unshakable, immutable reality that study of Torah for its own sake brings with it healing, whether it be physical healing, whether it be spiritual healing. Study of Torah regularly and routinely, maintaining a consistency in the study of Torah and having a genuine desire to learn the Torah, to know the will of the Kadesh Baruch Hu, and to be obedient to Him, and to seriously learn to have a fear of Him, so that you're less likely to come into a situation where you're going to do something wrong, brings with it a healing process on a multitude of levels. It will not only heal you spiritually, it'll heal you physically. It'll also heal a poor memory. It will sharpen your mind if you find that you're sort of, over the years, you're getting older and you're finding that you're sort of less quick off the mark in terms of, responding to people in conversations. You're having discussions, or you're thrashing out a piece of Torah and you're finding that you're not as quick as you used to be. Increasing your Torah study, and not only will you be returned to your former glory days in terms of your quick-wittedness, it will be even more profound and powerful than it's ever been before. And that's an absolute guarantee. It will do anything. It will cause cancer to go into remission, any mental disorders. It will stave off things pertaining to dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that. Absolutely 100% true. And some people say, well, I knew somebody and they studied Torah and they ended up getting Alzheimer's, or they died very young, or whatever. There's always an exception to the rule. And at the end of the day, only Hashem knows who among us are the real deal. And so if you can get into a routine of learning Torah regularly and studying Torah that is applicable to you, getting a hold of a mentor or a teacher, or at least somebody who could advise you where to start and what is applicable to you, it's nothing worse than delving into the Torah and perusing and investigating and analyzing and reading copious amounts of information, parts of the Torah that don't pertain to you, or they have nothing to do with you, or they're even something that is possibly forbidden to you. Maybe it's Torah that pertains to Kohanim. It's Torah that pertains to the obligations of a woman, and you're a man, and so on, and vice versa. Or it could be on lofty subjects to do with the Zohar, or other particular works, the Bahir, or things of that nature. So you got to humble yourself and you go, what do I need to learn? What do I need to learn? And it goes on to say, as it says, again, quoting from Proverbs, we're going to continue to quote from Proverbs right to the end of quite a large paragraph here. So we previously looked at the Torah is healing to a person's entire flesh. Proverbs 4:22, Mishlei 4:22, and it says, it shall be a healing for your body and a marrow for your bones. Again, according to Proverbs 3:8. So it will add strength to your skeletal system, and the marrow within your bones will receive nutrients. So this is stuff that goes beyond the natural world of nutrition. This is a spiritual sustenance that pierces into the natural world. As it says, it is a tree of life to those who grasp it, and its supporters are praiseworthy. Again, quoting from Proverbs 3:18, and it says, they are a garland of grace for your head and a necklace for your neck. Proverbs 1:9, and it says, I will give to you I will give to your head a garland of grace, a crown of glory. It will deliver to you. Proverbs 4:9. And it says, indeed, through me, the Torah, your days shall be increased, and the years of life shall be added to you. Proverbs 9:11. And it says, lengthy days are at its right, and at its left are wealth and honor. Again, quoting from Proverbs 3:16. And again, we have a final quote here in this particular verse. As it says, for lengthy days and years of life and peace shall they add to you. Proverbs 3:2. So, this is overwhelming information to be hearing. And you might be thinking, well, how come, I've been, in religious circles for quite a few years, and I've never really heard anybody teach on this particular subject, on the crucial aspect of learning, actually learning, not just, sticking to, going to a Bible study group once a week, but just learning daily, and learning as much as I can on any given day, and how that there is, a healing property that comes about when one embarks on the serious study of Torah on a regular basis. Not only that, it'll cause you any character flaws to be ironed out as well. So if you're somebody, maybe you're somebody who suffers from an over disclosure problem, you want to tell everybody your life story, it will iron you out and cause you to keep your mouth shut and speak in more appropriate points in an encounter. Also too, it will improve your ability to be interesting. People who have a very high success rate of bringing people to do tshuva, people who engage in kiruv have success, people who speak in a very intriguing way. They have an ability to tell stories and to captivate people. It will do that to you as well. It will cause you to become more interesting. People will gravitate to you, and they'll want to hear what your views are on a particular subject. And all this comes by way of sitting down and actually learning the Torah. You can't get around this. You can't sidestep this and say, well, I'll just listen to video lectures, 5 video lectures a day, and I won't have to pick up a book at all. No, this is all down to book learning. This is why none of my books that I've released, I have to date, to this point, released on Kindle. I make sure that they are all paperback releases that you have to physically receive and sit down and open up a physical book. There's nothing beats physically actually learning. Best way is to learn from a teacher in real time with a sefer, but if somebody can't, for whatever reason, get a hold of a teacher that they can teach them in real time, pick up a physical sefer that you can take with you, some sort of book on a subject, even if it's looking at the weekly Torah portions, whatever it might be, and study it on a regular basis. And review it over and over again. Verse 8, Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda says, in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Yoki, beauty, strength, wealth, honor, wisdom, old age, hoary age, and children, these befit the righteous and befit the world. As it said, ripe old age is a crown of splendor. It can be found in the path of the righteous, quoting Proverbs 16:31. And it says, the crown of the aged is grandchildren, and the splendor of children is their father. Proverbs 17:6, and it says, the splendor of young men is in their strength, and the glory of old men is hoary age. Proverbs 20:29, and it says, the moon will grow pale and the sun be shamed when Hashem, master of legions, will have reigned on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and honor shall be before his elders, according to Isaiah 24:23. Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh said, these 7 qualities that the sages attribute to the righteous are realized in Rabbi and his sons. So the concept of growing old is something that people don't really want to think about. People don't want to really think about getting old. I often will get a bit anxious about growing older and losing my physical attributes. My eyesight, since age 46, I had to get glasses age 45, age 46, and recently, not too long ago, had to get stronger glasses, and my eyesight's deteriorating. I'm also noticing that I'm not as sort of sprightly as I used to be in terms of my cardio fitness, and it worries me. But the idea is that aging is actually a blessing, because with age comes wisdom, and with wisdom comes an ability to be at peace and to also have some sort of contribution to helping other people and being a part of the world that is cause for good and not cause for contributing to its evil, which ends up bringing about eventual destruction. So you want to be here, and you want to be here for a reason that is bringing good to the world, even in your small corner, your small part of the universe, as they say, rather than being here and be contributing something that's causing the world to come under condemnation. And so, let's see what the commentaries say. Befit the righteous, they can be instruments for attaining righteousness or secular worldliness, depending upon how their possessions possess or utilizes their adornments. The biblical verses in the Bracer are taken from Proverbs, where the subject is the wisdom of the Torah. That's the previous verse that we looked at. So Hashem it provides you with faculties, and He wants you to actually use these faculties for the good. A lot of people, if they're quick-witted, they'll become like comedians, and they'll have success in stand-up comedy, when in actual fact, there could have been people that could have been B'nai Torah, there could have been a great Chacham, a Gedolim, people that are studying, like there's quite a few comedians who actually did attend yeshiva at some point and studied Torah, and at some point they got bounced out of it and they found themselves in the secular world, and they became these shock comedians, comedians that are quite controversial and they're quite successful. They'll appear on Joe Rogan's podcast, and these are people that were studying yeshiva. Even Gene Simmons himself was somebody who attended 770 and was a young Torah student when he first came to America with his mother. Something happens and they go down a different path, and then they sort of break off, they sever from where they should be. And so all their abilities, his natural aptitude of being an entrepreneur and having setting up a successful business with KISS and everything like that was used for that when it could have possibly been used for some other means. But ultimately, pretty much all the members of these people that are in bands like this have already received their reward. And then nothing much, if anything, waits for them in the Olam Haba. Quite possibly just destruction. Okay. Verse 9, Rabbi Yosef ben Kizma said, "Once I was walking on the road when a certain man met me. He greeted me, and I returned his greeting, and he said to me, 'Rabbi, from what place are you?' And I said, 'I am from a great city of scholars and sages.' And he said to me, 'Rabbi, would you be willing to live with us in our place? I would give you thousands upon thousands of golden dinars, precious stones and pearls.' I replied, 'Even if you were to give me all the silver and gold, precious stones and pearls in the world, I would dwell nowhere but in a place of Torah. And so it is written in the book of Psalms by David, king of Israel, I prefer the Torah of your mouth above thousands in gold and silver," quoting Psalm 119:72. Furthermore, when a man departs from this world, neither silver nor gold nor precious stones nor pearls escort him, but only Torah study and good deeds. As it is said, when you walk, it shall guide you. When you lie down, it shall guard you. And when you are awake, it will speak on your behalf, according to Proverbs 6:22. And when you walk, it shall guide you in this world. And when you lie down, it shall guide you in the grave. And when you are awake, it shall speak on your behalf in the world to come. As it says, mine is silver and mine is gold, says Hashem, Marshal of Legions, quoting from Haggai 2:8. Now, this is extremely interesting because this sort of underscores some things that I've hinted at and alluded to in the past in terms of where a person chooses to live. Where is the best place in the world to live? Particularly now, people are often wondering where's the safest place in the world, because it seems like the world is going, to hell in a handbasket. We have wars and rumors of wars. We have plagues and pestilence, and we have earthquakes and natural disasters in diverse places. So, where's the safe place to be? And the answer is, and this is the answer of all answers, no other. There should be no other, no more pursuit of this. An answer to this question after you hear what I have to say. That's it. That finishes the matter. Move on to something else. Where is the safest place to stay in the world? A place where there are as many righteous people as can be found. That is the safest place to live, wherever that is. Where there are righteous people residing in that locality. Don't try and flee to the mountains or some country. I think Stan Deyo released a book a few years ago called Prudent Places. And he released a whole publication on how to kind of, survive all the coming cataclysms, the plagues and the wars and the earthquakes by living someplace that's going to, somehow be insular from all that. We're taught that in the time to come, the very ground itself is going to become like a raging sea. So we're talking sort of earthquake that are sort of in the sort of 15.9 and up. Which if it's a 11.8, it's pretty horrific. But we're talking ones that's sort of in the mid-teens, getting near the early 20s. So literally, the land becomes like a raging sea. And it's moving around so violently. So even if you do go out in a kind of an open area, there's nowhere for you to hide. So the safest place to live is with people who are righteous. Where are righteous people today? Look none other than Orthodox Jewish communities. You will find the most righteous people residing in these communities. And so if you can, live as close as you can, because I know these communities are generally more expensive. It costs at least 3 times more expensive to live in Orthodox Jewish communities because of the blessings that impact that place. And eating kosher, I would recommend, even a Noahide if you can afford it to eat kosher. And there's a reason why the Jewish community have they're less prone to a lot of the disorders and diseases and sicknesses of the host nations. And this is largely because they adhere to a kosher diet and they keep all their kitchen cleaned and ordered in a particular way, including their utensils and their chopping boards and so on and so forth. And it gives them it attributes to their long life, or at least allows the natural activities that Hashem has commanded them to do to mask their supernatural preservation from a lot of these sicknesses and illnesses, if you can kind of get your head around that. And going a little bit further, we are also ensured that somebody who studies Torah diligently will be enabled to make the right decisions and act accordingly when he appears on the other side of the veil. So one of the things you may have come across is that in the early phase of a person's transmigration from life to death, they experience the torments of the grave, and there are 4 angels that come down, and depending on the level of their righteousness, if they're a sort of a particularly wicked person, they beat them with fire, and they ask them a whole series of questions. And different angels have different functions and they come for different things. And so if somebody is abreast of the Torah and put in as much effort as they could in terms of their learning, and I'm talking like certainly from a Noahide perspective, you need to know what the Torah portion is each week, and you need to be reading the daily aliyahs as a minimum, and the Orthodox Jewish commentary to these daily aliyahs as a minimum, and following the monthly Orthodox reading of the book of Psalms. If you have these things down, you are doing extremely well as a baseline. And this is as a Noahide. This isn't as an Orthodox Jew. An Orthodox Jew, it's a totally different world, though what I just mentioned, they certainly have to be across those things as well. So we're told that the Torah will guard you when you're asleep, and it will guide you when you're walking, not only in this world, but it also will guide you in the world to come. This is because when we manifest across the other side of the veil, we are, for all intents and purposes, still the same in terms of who we were when we left this world. And so this doesn't mean that we've got the same body and we've got the same requirements because we don't have a body that the body needs because we don't have a body anymore, but we are the sum of our thoughts. We are still the sum of who we are in terms of what we think about and what we choose to even speak. Because to a degree, you still have the capacity to speak because your thoughts can manifest in a way that other neshamot can actually read them. So there is a form of speech, and you can, certainly unlawfully make impact and inroads into the world to certain degrees, depending on your circumstances, which, the human population equate as the phenomenon of ghosts and things like that. But what we're told here is that by doing your best and bringing your best game to the Torah throughout your entire life is going to enable you to know what to do and what to say on the other side of the veil, not just on, when a person is alive in flesh and blood. Let's have a look and see if we have any commentary to this. Verse 9. No, I can't see any. That's all right. All right, let's look at verse 10. 5 possessions did the Holy One, blessed be he, acquire for himself in this world, in his world, rather. I'll read that again. 5 possessions did the Holy One, blessed be he, acquire for himself in his world, and they are Torah, 1 possession, heaven and earth, 1 possession, Abraham, 1 possession, Israel, 1 possession, the Holy Temple, the Beit HaMikdash, 1 possession. From where did we know this about the Torah? Since it was written, Hashem acquired me, the Torah, at the beginning of his way before his works in time of yore. That's a really long time ago. And that's quoting Proverbs 8:22. From where do we know this about heaven and earth? Since it is written, so says Hashem, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. What house can he build for me? And where is the place of my rest? Isaiah 66:1. And it says, how abundant are your works, Hashem? With wisdom you made them all. And the earth is full of your possessions, according to Psalm 104:24. From where do we know this about Abraham? Since it is written, and he blessed him and said, blessed is Abram of Elohim the Most High, who acquired heaven and earth. Genesis 14:19. From where do we know this about the people of Israel? Since it is written, until the people passes through Hashem, until the people passes through Hashem, until it passes through this people you acquired. Exodus 15:16, and it also says, but for the holy ones who are in the earth and for the mighty, all my desires are due to him, quoting Psalm 16:3. From where do we know this about the holy temple? Since it is written, your dwelling place, which you, Hashem, have made, the sanctuary, my Adonai, that your hands established, quoting Exodus 15:17. And it says, and he brought them to his sacred boundary, to this mountain which his right hand had acquired, quoting Psalm 78:54. All right, let's have a look at some of the commentary on this. To acquire for himself of all the infinite, all the infinite in the universe, Elohim singled out 5 things that uniquely advance the goals of creation. So, among all the infinite things that Hashem can regale himself with, because he's himself infinite, he specifies these specific things. And it says here, of all infinite universe, Elohim singled out 5 things that uniquely advance the goals of creation. The Torah reveals Elohim's will and purpose. Only by studying and obeying it can man fulfill the mission set forth for him by Hashem. Heaven and earth, domain on which Torah is to be fulfilled. Abraham, the man who showed the way to the recognition of Elohim. Israel, the Jewish people, bearers of the covenant. And the holy temple, the dwelling place of the divine presence on this world. Verse 11, this is our final verse. All of the Holy One, blessed is he, created created in this world. He created solely for his glory, as it says, all that is called by my name, indeed it is my glory that I have created it, formed it, and made it, quoting Isaiah 43:7. And it says, Hashem shall reign for all eternity, again, quoting Exodus 15:18, and that brings us to the conclusion of Pirkei Avot. Verse 11 commentary says, after 6 chapters of teaching and exhortation, Avot concludes with the stirring and inspirational declaration that everything in creation is a tool for his glory. Clearly, since Elohim created the universe for his service, no force can prevent man from utilizing it properly. Elohim has shown us the way. It is for us to supply the will and the wisdom. Wow, what a ride, what a journey this has been. And one of the things that I think is extremely interesting is how in chapter 6 there is so much that is laid out and telling us in terms of what the benefits of actually studying the Torah. And it's dense with information, and to the point where if somebody's just not really prioritizing learning the Torah as something that they do a lot, then it's just borderline insanity. But the Yetzer Hara has many ways to bump us off the path, and we have to keep fighting. We have to keep moving forward, and we have to keep doing tshuva, and we have to keep renewing ourselves every single day. Okay, so let's close off with a reading from Isaiah 42:21. Rabbi Kanina ben Akisha says, "The Holy One, blessed is he who wished to confer merit upon Israel. Therefore he gave them the Torah mitzvot in abundance, as it says, Hashem desired for the sake of its righteousness," that's Israel's righteousness, "that the Torah be made great and glorious." Thank you so much for joining me on this series. I hope you enjoyed it, and give us a like, subscribe, and maybe share the content. Let people know, because I think that the Pirkei Avot, there's a lot of people in the non-Jewish world that would find a lot of valuable wisdom in studying this work. And it would just make me so happy to know that these videos on this playlist that has been assembled right before your eyes would be a contributing factor in any way for people among the nations to glean the beauty and the sweetness of Jewish wisdom, and how it can enhance their understanding of God and his laws. Anyway, until next time, until we embark on another series, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And until next time, Hashem willing, bye for now.